Have you ever had one of those days, or maybe one of those weeks, where you feel like you're just running on a hamster wheel? You're constantly moving, constantly busy, but you're not actually getting anywhere? Well, today we're going to break down a really powerful strategy that helps you get off that wheel and turn all that chaotic activity into real, meaningful progress. Let's jump in. So let's just start with the big question we all need to ask ourselves from time to time. Are you busy, or are you actually productive? And trust me, the difference between those two things is absolutely massive. Figuring out which side of that line you're on, well, that's the first step to completely changing the game. And that question leads us right into this really common problem, something we call the busyness trap. You know exactly what this feels like, right? It's Friday afternoon, you are completely exhausted from a week of nonstop meetings and tasks, but when you look back, you kind of struggle to point to one single significant thing you accomplished. It's all the burnout with none of the payoff. And here's the heart of the issue, right here. On one side, you have activity. This feels productive, doesn't it? It's all about long hours, an endless to-do list, a calendar packed with meetings, but it so often just leads to a dead end of drained energy. But then, you look at the other side. That's where the magic is. That's progress. That's when your effort actually achieves goals, creates a real impact, and drives growth. Our whole mission here is to figure out how to live in that second column. So, how do we do it? How do we actually escape the business trap? Well, the answer isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter. It's about a more strategic approach. It's called strategic resource alignment, and it is the key. It's the framework that will shift you from just being busy to being truly effective. So what in the world is it? Okay, let's break it down. Strategic resource alignment is basically this. It's the process of first figuring out what your most critical assets are. We're talking your time, your money, your team's talent. And then, second, deliberately focusing those assets only on the high-value activities that are actually going to help you crush your most important goals. Plain and simple, it's about being incredibly intentional with everything you've got. Okay, so the very first step in this whole process is just knowing what you're working with, right? You have to take a minute, take a step back, and really understand your most critical resources, your assets. Because think about it, you can't align what you haven't even identified. Now, the source material breaks these down into 4 core types, which is super helpful. First up, you've got your human assets. And this is a big one. It's your skills, your team's talent, and of course, your own precious time. Then you've got financial assets, your budget, any capital you have access to. Next is technological, all the software, the tools, the platforms you use. And finally, physical assets, things like your office space or specialized equipment. The real key here is to look at this list and ask yourself, from my goals, which of these are the real game changers? All right, so once you've got a clear picture of your most critical assets, the next and maybe most important step is deciding where to point them. This is all about focus, because it's not enough to just have these resources, you have to aim them at the right targets to get that maximum impact. Now, the process for this is actually pretty simple. It's just 2 steps, but simple doesn't always mean easy. Step 1, you identify that handful of activities that actually drive growth and make a difference. But step 2, this is arguably more important, and it requires some serious discipline. You have to be ruthless about eliminating all the non-essential tasks that just suck up your time and energy for no good reason. So you do all this work, you identify your assets, you focus them, you cut out the junk. What happens? What's the ultimate payoff here? Let's talk about it, because when you actually get this right, when you align your resources with your strategy, the results are, well, they're transformative. This is about so much more than just feeling less busy. The first huge payoff is real, tangible growth. It just makes sense, right? When you focus your best stuff on your most important activities, you naturally start to move the needle on your biggest objectives. You're not spinning your wheels anymore. You're building some serious momentum. The second payoff is this incredible boost in efficiency. By actively cutting out all those non-essential tasks, the busy work, you stop wasting your time, your energy, and your money. Every single action you take becomes more powerful because you systematically cut out all the noise. And finally, all of this leads to something that is so important: sustainability. Look, this isn't about a short-term sprint that just ends in burnout. Strategic alignment creates a system for long-term, sustainable performance. It lets you achieve your biggest goals without completely sacrificing your well-being to get there. You know, there's this quote from the source material that just nails the entire philosophy here. It says, "Ensure that every effort contributes meaningfully to long-term objectives." In other words, every meeting you take, every dollar you spend, every hour of your day, It should all have a clear and powerful purpose. So, I want to leave you with a challenge, a question to really think about. Based on everything we just talked about, what is one non-essential task you can just eliminate, get rid of tomorrow to free up your resources so you can focus on what truly matters? Just one thing. Give it some thought, because that one small change could be the start of a massive shift for you. Thanks for watching.